What's up, you guys? So, before I go to bed, I wanted to bullshit with you guys for a few minutes. So, man, February's been a good month so far, money-wise. Freight-wise and all that good shit, load-wise, it's been pretty good, February has. Oh my god, this fucking camera. There we go. Sorry, the dog's eating, so you're gonna have to listen to that. But, look, I've done pretty good this last month. Like, January sucked, and I'm doing pretty good for February, right? So I've been paying some stuff off, some medical bills and stuff like that. And I'm reaching the end of my list. I got a list of, all this debt that, you guys know the story if you've been paying attention. I got this debt that I've been working through. A big part of the reason why I ended up signing the lease for a truck is so I could make the money to get myself out of debt and then save up money and stuff like that. Well, I'm making progress on that. And so, I'm thinking about 2018. Bless you. I'm looking forward to 2018. I'm looking forward to 2020. Looking forward to 2025, 2030. Looking ahead, because after I pay off this debt, then I'm going to save up. I have some savings goals to meet this year for personal savings, things like that. I want to buy a new pickup truck. And if you know me, when I say I want to get a new truck, a new pickup, I don't mean a new. I mean like an 05 or 06. Something like that. I don't buy brand new vehicles. It's a waste of money. But, I want to get a new pickup and stuff like that. I got some personal financial goals. But, I should be able to reach those personal financial goals, my savings goals, this year in 2018. Well, the original plan was to pay off the debt and save up enough money and have myself a nice little personal nest egg to take home with me. And then after that, jump off the road and go do something else, right? Well, I don't know. I've been thinking about, after I come off the road, then what? Then what kind of job will I get? And, what direction do I want to take my career in? Or do I even want to continue with this career? Because this is actually like the third or fourth, this is like the third career path, should I say. This is like the third career path that I've gone down. Because there's other industries I've worked in, and I'm not afraid to go work in another industry or an industry I've never worked in before, and that's a good thing. I most of the people I talk to, people have had jobs like, I did this, I worked in a restaurant in high school or blah, blah, blah. That's not a career path. That's just a fucking job. It's like if you worked at GameStop or Target or something like that for like 6 months to a year, that's not really a career path. You don't really get any skills out of that you can really take. I mean, maybe you've got some little bit of retail, customer service experience or something like that. That doesn't really go all that fucking far, But, I did construction for years, and, I was an electrician. So I've got that to fall back on. And then I've worked in an auto shop before I did this. And I could go back to doing that. Or I could continue doing this. Or I could just go for a completely different career if I want to. That's one of the great things about being single. And not having a family and kids and stuff like that. Every day that goes by, I feel more and more sorry for guys in their 20s or their early 30s, or maybe not their early 30s, but just dudes who, they're popping out kids and they got, wives and families, and they just, they're turning into family men and stuff. Hey, if it's what they want to do, great. I just wouldn't want to be, man. That's all I got to say. Because it's like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I got no one to answer to, really. I can do whatever I want. But I guess, let me stop beating around the bush here and I guess get to the point of the video, right? So I'm thinking about the future, what I want to do, what path I want to take here, right? And I've talked about, leasing, and I've got my other videos where I was talking about signing a lease, going into a lease, being lease purchase, stuff like that, and talked about being an owner-operator, and of course, I did go off on some tangents on some of those videos, but, that's how I felt. For the most part, it's still how I feel, but, basically, lease purchase and the lease purchase path and the owner-operator path, like buying the truck to own it and have it in your name, and then leasing a truck from a carrier, those are two different paths for two different purposes, and I guess as a disclaimer, something I didn't really talk about in my other videos where I talked about leasing is that, and this is something that I've come to find after collecting a lot. I've been in this lease 11 months, and I've talked to a lot of other lease drivers. I've heard, on the radio, like Kevin Rutherford's show, lease, other guys in leases, YouTube, whatever. I've heard what the deal is with lease purchase in this industry, and what it is that the vast majority of them fucking suck. Now when it comes to buying a truck, yeah, lease purchase is a shitty way to go, but like I've said before, if you're not really interested in owning the truck, like, I love this truck. Sure, there's a few things I'd change about it, but for the most part, I love it. I'm never going to own it, though. I don't want to. I don't want to spend the money on it, and honestly, I want to get something different if I were to buy a truck, right? But, I failed to mention before, maybe I didn't even realize it before, but the lease program that I'm in at this company apparently is way fucking better than most of what else is out there. Now, I've heard some really great stories here and there about some great lease purchases, but that's the minority. The vast majority of stories about lease purchase programs is that they're fucking terrible. This one, you know what? Because I've been listening to Kevin Rutherford's show, and you listen to these guys that are owner-operators, and they're in lease purchases, and, different guys, and they call in and they talk about their numbers, what they grossed for the year, what their profit, their profit margin was, what kind of percentage they were making, and I sat down and looked at my numbers the other day for 2017, which I hadn't done yet, just hadn't been paying attention to it, right? And I looked at my total year for 2017, and my numbers were better than a lot of owner-operators out there. Not lease purchase, owner-operator, and now there's different reasons for that, but still, I did really good last year. Really fucking good. I thought, I did pretty good. I made some good money. Apparently, I beat the fuck out of a lot of owner-operators. And you know what? This is not me trying to take a shot at owner-operators. This is just a fact. I did good. And the thing is, I was looking at only 8 months. I signed the lease in March. Didn't make any money until April. So April through December is really just a 12-month period where I grossed $144,000 to the truck, and netted before tax about $70,000 in 8 months before taxes. not including what I made in the first 4 months of 2017 as a company driver. You know, I have no idea how much that is. I haven't looked at the paperwork, my fucking tax returns and shit like that. But, you know, $70,000 gross plus, I don't know, 10, 15 grand. Let's say 10 grand, I guess. Fuck it, 15 grand. So 85 grand gross for the year with 4 months as a company driver, something like that. You know, and as a $144,000 gross, $70,000 net, that puts me at about a 49% profit, which apparently is pretty fucking good from what I've heard, right? You know, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, the reason I'm telling you this is because those numbers are fucking good. Those are good fucking numbers for being an independent contractor in trucking, from what I've heard, from what guys are saying, you know, from what, you know, owner-operators are saying and shit like that, is those are good numbers. But basically, you know, I was thinking, you know what? This is just a thought I was toying with, because I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do in the future here, right? Now, later this year in 2018, once I save up the money I want to save up for my personal financial goals, you know, if I wanted to, I could stay out in the truck. I could just keep on going, you know, into 2019. Instead of going home this year and getting off the highway, I could stay out here to 2019 and, I don't know, save up like $30,000, right? I imagine take me maybe 5-6 months or whatever, you know, maybe 5-6 months, you know, but stay out, save up $30,000, and then take that, and I could do whatever the fuck I want with it. Like, for instance, if I want to, I could go out and buy a truck, you know, but that would mean that I'm committing to staying on the road and being an owner-operator. Something that I hadn't really previously wanted to do. Now I'm kind of thinking about it, you know, because I'm trying to think about the future and about what I want to build. Because it's either that or go, you know, get a local driving job and be an employee again. And I'm not sure if that's something I'm going to like after kind of doing this and being independent for so long. Maybe so, maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a thought that I'm having. You know, I could take that 30 grand, you know, and go out and buy a truck, figure out, you know, who I want to lease onto, what kind of freight I want to haul, find a truck that fits that profile, you know, lease on, and pay off the truck, be an owner-operator, and commit to staying on the road, you know, because originally that's not something I wanted to do, because I just miss being home. I've been out here for over 2.5 years, but I don't know, because this is what I'm thinking. Yeah, I miss being home because I've been out here for like 2.5 years, staying out 2-3 months at a time. But I have a feeling once I come off of the road, go local, you know, and I'm not OTR anymore, and I'm home every night and weekends, stuff like that. I think for like maybe 6 months, it'll be like fucking awesome. 6 months to a year, it'll be like, oh my God, I feel like I got paroled from prison, for Christ's sakes, right? And then I'm thinking, I don't know, this is just me hypothesizing, but I'm thinking maybe the honeymoon phase is going to wear off, and then I'm going to be thinking, all right, you know, now I've just come home from work, you know, and I deal with traffic, and I come home and fucking play Xbox, and then bullshit, and then go to bed. It's just normal everyday bullshit, right? When I could be on the highway making 2-3 times what I am now, you know. And that's the whole thing, you know. Like, when I first got into trucking, I had a girlfriend and a leased house and all kinds of obligations and shit, but I don't have any of that stuff anymore, you know. I don't have wives, kids, and stuff like that. I don't have anything holding me back, holding me down, you know. And I'm thinking, you know, what if I do What if I pull the trigger on this? What if I do decide to stay out here? You know, not stay out 2-3 months at a time. That shit might have to come to an end, you know what I mean, for me to be able to do this in the long term. But what if I do stay out here, you know, buy a truck? You know, I feel like I could make a pretty good business out of it. You know, I feel like I could do it, you know, try to do it smart, try to do it the right way, and be successful and make, you know, be a good owner-operator. Be a successful owner-operator. Get a truck paid off, you know, get all the maintenance done, get it to where it's running good, it's reliable, it's set up the way I want it, and, you know, that'll just make a career out of that, make good money. Just stay out here, you know, save up money, maybe save up enough money to buy a house or something. I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about. But here's the other side of that coin is that I don't know if that's a smart thing to do. You know? If you've had your thumb on the pulse, you've been kind of paying attention to what's going on these days. Autonomous trucks have been they've been in the news a lot lately. There's been a lot of articles circulating about these autonomous trucks, self-driving trucks, you know, because all these corporations and like Tesla and Uber and all these fuckers, all these big corporations and these really rich investors, they've all started to kind of realize how much money is out here on the highway. How much money, like how many billions of dollars is running around with freight, and they want in. They want to get into the freight game. So what I've read, what I've heard is that these corporations and these investors are throwing tens of billions of dollars at, you know, driverless trucks and electric trucks and hybrid trucks, and, you know, there's like Uber Freight and stuff like that, like digital brokers and like all these non-truck, they're basically technology companies, and they want to all get into the freight industry, the trucking industry. They want a slice of the pie, you know, which, you know, if you've watched the videos I made about autonomous trucks and what I think about them and stuff like that, you know, I was and I still am pretty skeptical about autonomous trucks, you know, because I just don't know how the fuck they could. There's thousands upon thousands of questions that they've got to answer correctly before they can make it happen. But when you're throwing tens of billions of dollars at something, those questions will get answered pretty fucking fast. And it's making me shake my head and think, you know what? I'm 28 years old now. It may not be smart to pursue this as a long-term career. I go out and buy a truck and become an owner-operator, pay it off, start running a nice little successful single truck operation, you know, and I'm good. I'm making good money, doing what the fuck I want to do, whatever. 20 years from now, I'm 48 years old. Fuck that. 15 years from now, right? I'll be, what? 43? Be 43 years old 15 years from now. So what about, you know, when I'm 43 15 years from now, what if there's no job for me anymore? What if my career path comes to an end, hits a dead end, and they just, you know what, it won't happen overnight. It'll happen very gradually. Freight will start to slow down. It'll have a bad season, and then rates will come down, you know, and then they'll just kind of stay that way, and it'll plateau, you know, and then they'll ease down a little bit more to the point where drivers start dropping out and leaving, and it'll just gradually slow down as these autonomous trucks start to take over the industry or whatever the fuck happens. It'll be a very gradual thing to the point where, you know, you're not making near as much money, to you're barely breaking even, to you're not making any money at all, and you're basically losing money to even stay out, to the point where you're staying at the house. You know, you can't find freight that's worth a goddamn to haul, you know, or you're taking, you know, bottom of the barrel shit to the point where, you know, you just got to sell your truck if anyone will buy it. You know, I don't know how you can't really sell industry-specific equipment to a dying industry, so I think that's how it'll happen. So, and like I said, I'm looking out ahead. I don't want to be changing careers when I'm 43, because I don't know where I'm going to be at. Maybe I will have a wife and kids. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe so. But you don't want to be changing fucking careers in your 40s or your 50s. Starting back at what, like $14 an hour, something like that? You know, what am I going to do? Say, hey, you know, I used to be an electrician 20 years ago. Let me see if I can get a job for more than $11 an hour. You know, with the shit that I knew 20 years ago or whatever. You know, what are you going to do? Go back to school? I guess you could. But I just don't want to be having to change careers 10, 15, 20 years from now if I decide to go down this path. You know, or I could save up stay out on the road next year, save up $30,000 or 40 or 20 or how much ever I save up, you know, and take that money and take it in a different direction, right? Maybe start a business that has nothing to do with trucking. Start my own whatever. Or take that money and use it to go to a trade school to learn how to do something else. You know, like go to a trade school and learn how to be a heavy diesel technician, a heavy diesel mechanic, which is something that I'd be fine doing, right? So this stuff that I've been thinking about, it's all way in the future. You know, it's a couple years in the future. I don't have to make a decision about any of this stuff anytime soon. You know, I mean, I could ride this lease all the way till it's its 3.5-year term, and I've been in it for almost a year. So I could ride this lease for another 2.5 years if I wanted to. I don't really want to. I don't really want to take a truck like this that far, because then you reach the point where you really need to service the emission system, and, you know, things are going to start breaking and stuff like that. I don't want to take this lease all the way to term. At that point, it'd be better off if I'm gonna stay out here the full 3.5-year term. It'd be better off just going out and buying a truck anyway, just doing it that way. You know, at least I'll be building some kind of equity. I'm not building any equity here. That's the biggest downfall of a lease purchase program. If you're not going to buy the truck, you know, you lose your equity when you back out, when you leave, when you terminate the contract, right? So, it's just stuff I've been thinking about, you know, just stuff I've been considering. You know, because if you're in your late 30s, your 40s, and you're trucking, especially if you're owner-operator, I wouldn't worry. But if you're in your early 30s or your late 20s like I am, especially if you're in your early 20s, you're fresh out here on the road, you know, just got into this, or even if you've been in it for, say you're 25, you've been trucking since you were 21, you know, and you got 4 years in the game, and, you know, you're leasing, company driver, even if maybe you're an owner-operator, this is shit that you guys should be thinking about if you're younger like I am, right? You got to think if this fucking industry is going to be here for us in 20 years. You got to consider that, because it may not be. There may still be drivers, but it may be to the point where there's not enough work. Like, the only drivers out here barely make any money because there's so many autonomous trucks. Because the problem is, because I figured, you know, I go into flatbed, you know, I'll learn a specialized type of freight, type of driving, you know, it'll give me an additional skill. You know, the problem with things like that is, like, say autonomous trucks take over the van driving side, the van division, and all autonomous trucks are running all the van. You know, you only need drivers for tanker, reefer, and flatbed, car hauling and shit like that. Where do you think all the van drivers are going to go? They're going to go flatbed and reefer and car hauling and tanker and all that good shit, right? And so our divisions become saturated with drivers. And when an area, an occupation becomes saturated, it drives wages down for everybody. That's how it works. You know, if you got any of you truckers who've been around for a while before '08, you know, do you guys remember what happened out here in '08? Like how many new drivers popped up? Because I got laid off in '08. I didn't work for like 3-4 months. Couldn't find fucking work anywhere. When the economy took a shit, I couldn't find work doing anything. Picking up trash. You know, couldn't find work anywhere. There was no jobs to be had. A lot of these trucking companies, a lot of people from a lot of different industries bailed out and just came out here and started trucking. Right? No, I'm not sure. I'm sure that I don't know if that made the pay go down necessarily. It's a different type of industry, but that's what happens. That's what happens, you know. So, I don't know. These are just things I'm thinking about. And I made a video about it because I want to know what you guys think. You know, I just want to hear your guys' considerations, you know. You know, based on all the you know, what I'm thinking about. You know, different directions I could possibly go in. What do you guys think about the future of the industry, or if it's worth it, if it's not? You know, if I should stay out here and keep stacking bread, or what? You know, I just figure I'd put it out and see what you guys think about it. Alright, I gotta go to bed. But I'll talk to you guys real soon, alright? And to anybody who throws out a comment on that's actually worth a damn and it's not just, you know, trolling bullshit, hey, I appreciate it in advance. So I'll talk to you guys later.